Hi everyone, my name is Kara and welcome back to the Little Mission Garden. Today I'm going to be talking with you about how to save chili seeds. Whether you're on a budget and looking for an economical way to get seeds for your garden, or you're an experienced gardener who really loves a specific variety of chili and wants to save seeds for next year, I think this video will be helpful for you. I think it's important to talk about chili varieties before we get started because depending on the variety of chili, that can influence whether or not it can cross-pollinate with other types of chilies or whether it's self-fertile. There are 5 domesticated varieties in the capsicum genus. The first 3, Capsicum annuum, Capsicum frutescens, and Capsicum chinense, are known as the Capsicum annuum complex. Say that 3 times fast. These 3 are not usually self-fertile and can easily cross-pollinate with one another, which means that you need to isolate different varieties from one another so that they don't cross-pollinate, either by using a 1.5 to 2 millimeter screen or providing a distance of 100 to 300 feet between them if you want to get seeds that are going to grow true to type next season. I'm not going to go through all the varieties of chilies in each of these groups, but I do want to discuss a few. The Capsicum annuum group is native to South and Central America and includes jalapenos, cayenne, hatch, bell, shishito, and poblano. Those should all be familiar varieties for most of us. Capsicum frutescens includes varieties such as Hawaiian chilies, tobacco, and piri piri, which is otherwise known as a bird's eye chili. Capsicum chinense includes habanero type chilies such as Scotch bonnets, datil, ghost, and of course habanero chilies. This list is not extensive, but I wanted to give you a brief description of each of these groups so that you have a basic understanding of how readily they'll cross-pollinate with each other and how you can isolate them from one another if you want to grow different varieties in your garden. The other 2 chili species are Capsicum baccatum and Capsicum pubescens. Hopefully I'm getting all of these pronunciations correct. Capsicum baccatum can readily cross-pollinate with any of the 3 species that belong to the Capsicum annuum complex. If you've ever heard of ají chili varieties such as ají amarillo and ají pineapple, these belong to the Capsicum baccatum species. Capsicum pubescens is native to Ecuador, Chile, and Peru, and pubescens actually means hairy, which is fitting because the leaves and the stems of this chili plant are fuzzy or hairy. Cultivars include Recado, Manzano, and Locado. If you're interested in saving chili seeds from your garden, I'm sure you've already got some specific varieties in mind. Today, I'm going to be saving seeds from the chiltepin, from the datil pepper, and also from the chili ordoño. Chiltepins are often referred to as the mother of all chilies because it's thought that all chilies around the world originated from the chiltepin. Chiltepins grow wild in northern Mexico and the southwestern United States. Chiltepins are a little bit smaller than a garden pea and turn from green to red when ripe. I've heard that some people pickle green chiltepins, though I've never tried that. I wait until they turn a bright red on the plant and then I harvest them and finish drying them in my house so that I can grind them and put them on chilies and enchiladas and anything that needs a lot of flavor and a lot of spice during the winter time. And I could let them dry a little more on the plant. However, the birds are just as much a fan of them as I am, and so they come and they steal all of my chiltepins, so I have to pick them before the birds get them all. Chili ordoños are a colorful ornamental pepper that are native to a canyon in Chihuahua, Mexico. As the fruit matures, it changes from yellow to purple to orange and then finally red. And once it turns red, I can pick those and harvest them for seeds. They're very heat and drought tolerant, very spicy, but super tasty. The datil pepper was a new variety for me last year and I grew it again this year as well. I was first introduced to the datil chili by a woman I met in Tucson. She used to be a market gardener in Florida and she saved the seeds every year so that she could sell them at market. And when she moved from Florida to Tucson, she brought the seeds with her and continued growing them in her garden. They do really well in southern Arizona. The history of the datil chili is a little tricky to figure out. It's thought that it was brought by colonists from the island of Menorca, which is an island off the coast of Spain, to the St. Augustine, Florida area, and then it's been grown there ever since. The chili has a beautiful deep yellow color when it's ripe. It changes from green to yellow. It's very spicy and very flavorful. I love using them fresh, although I have heard that some people will make chili sauces with it as well. Saving seeds from chilies is going to be the same process no matter what variety you decide to try, so don't worry about that. One thing to note here before we begin is that you want to choose seeds from an open pollinated or heirloom variety rather than a hybrid variety. So what's the difference? An heirloom variety is open pollinated by wind or insects that has been grown and shared for many years in a specific place before commercial hybrids were developed, beginning in the late 1950s. Plants that you grow from an heirloom seed will be identical to the parent plants as long as you ensure that the plants you're saving seeds from were isolated from other varieties and not cross-pollinated. A hybrid variety is created from two different varieties that are crossed together to get specific characteristics. This also occurs in nature during cross-pollination, either by wind or insects, eventually leading to a new species. Hybrid varieties will offer characteristics that are really useful, such as being container friendly or growing well in a greenhouse, or maybe being resistant to a specific pest or disease, or being drought tolerant. So there are lots of great reasons to grow hybrids. However, they're just not good for saving seeds from, because you don't know what characteristics that plant that you grow from a hybrid seed is going to display. If you planted 10 different seeds, you could get 10 plants with 10 different characteristics. If you have a specific variety in mind and you want to save the seeds from that plant, just make sure it hasn't been cross-pollinated with other varieties and that it's not a hybrid plant. If you're wondering whether your plant is a hybrid or an heirloom or open pollinated variety, you can look on the seed packet if you started that plant from a seed, and underneath the name at the very top, it will say either hybrid or it will say the scientific name. And on the back of the seed packet, it will also say whether it's been open pollinated or not. Some people try saving seeds from store-bought vegetables, and you can certainly grow plants from those vegetables that you buy in the produce department, but what you end up with is another story. Usually those vegetables from your produce department are hybrids that have been designed and selected for specific characteristics, such as a longer shelf life or shippability, or maybe it's the appearance. But if you plant those seeds and it's a hybrid, you're going to get a different plant than you're expecting. So definitely stick with an heirloom or an open pollinated variety to start your seeds from. Okay, so now that we have all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with saving our seeds. There are two different methods to use when saving seeds, a wet method and a dry method. And the dry method is pretty easy. That means you don't add water, you don't mix it with water. All you do is scoop out the seeds and you put it on a surface, a paper towel, a plate, or whatever container that you're using, and you spread the seeds out and you let them dry. In the wet method, you're going to take those seeds out and mix them with water. Now, with tomato seeds, you have to let them ferment for a while. Peppers don't require a fermentation process to save. If you're using the wet method for your chili seeds, you simply slice down the middle of your chili, you scoop the seeds out, pulp and all, you throw that into a bowl, you mix it all together with some fresh water, and the viable seeds will sink to the bottom because they're heavier, and the pulp and any other seeds that aren't good are going to float to the top where they can be easily drained off. Once you do that, you want to drain off the top portion of the water that has the pulp. You want to rinse those seeds and drain them, and then you want to spread them out on a surface and let them dry. I use a dry method to save my seeds, and the way you do that is by cutting the chili down the middle, scooping the seeds out and separating it from the pulp, and then placing those seeds on a solid surface. And I say a solid surface because some people like to use a paper towel or a coffee filter. I don't like to do that because if your seeds have any kind of moisture, if you're using the wet method, or if there's any kind of moisture in them because they had a lot of pulp, there is a risk of them germinating on that paper towel, and then your seeds are wasted. So I like to use a dinner plate or a paper plate or something that isn't going to hold moisture. And then I'll spread those seeds out on that surface and I'll let those dry for 1 to 2 weeks. I like to let mine dry for 2 weeks because I want to ensure that they're absolutely dry, but sometimes they're ready in just 1 week. Once your seeds are dry, you can store them in an envelope, in a baggie, in a sealed container, and put them somewhere cool and dry. I like to store my seeds in an old refrigerator that I have out in my garage. I call it my seed vault. My family calls it my seed hoarding area because I have way too many seeds that I should probably be sharing with other people more often, but it's the perfect place to store seeds for a while. Properly processed and stored chili seeds can last up to 2 years, so you don't have to worry about them losing their viability as long as you store them properly. And there you have it, a quick and easy way to save chili seeds from your garden. I wish you all the best of luck in your seed saving endeavors. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.